Okay, so the 3 skills that I want to improve is how to handle constructive criticism, how to measure and improve my adaptability to new situations, and listening to what other people have to say. So first, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of backwards. Okay. Number 1 for how to handle constructive criticism better is to not take it personally and instead think of it as someone trying to strengthen my strengths that I already have rather than try to point out my weaknesses. Then we have to keep an open mind, so not to just completely reject what everybody says to me in terms of constructive criticism, but rather keeping an open mind and basically being able to do a self-examination on myself. Then we have work towards a solution. So process the information and ask questions about criticism to gain more insight on how to fix it. So when someone's telling me something that I can improve on, I can ask them questions specifically on how to improve that, or give me specific examples of when I displayed me not taking constructive criticism better, or when I messed up in the area that they think I could improve on. So I think I'm going to implement this into my life with my family giving me constructive criticism, because I tend to be on defense mode a lot. So when my dad gives me constructive criticism on how I can do better in school or do better with my finances, I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to not take it personally, and I'm going to implement it. Then we have measuring and improving my adaptability. I got this information from a TED Talk that I actually really liked. So first thing is basically to ask myself what if questions, not ask myself based off of like my past questions. So by doing this, basically I'm going to be thinking of what could be in the future instead of just basing what's going to happen in the future off of my past. Then we have unlearning principles that I've learned to adapt, and challenge my beliefs to explore new scenarios that might be better. So basically unlearning habits that I have right now and being able to unlearn those things instead of being so set into my ways, which doesn't help me become more adaptable to new situations. Then we have infuse exploration of new ideas, not exploitation of old ideas. So basically, I'm going to implement this into my life because I'm currently job hunting right now, and I would love to move out of state, but like I said, I'm not very adaptable to new things. I'm not very comfortable with being uncomfortable. So basically, I'm going to unlearn everything that I've come to know about staying in Kenosha and staying up north in my comfort zone, because I'm not going to be able to reach the goals that I want to reach staying up here. Then I'm going to basically ask myself, what if? So what if I go to Nashville, for example? I'm currently interviewing for a position in Nashville. So what if I do that and find something that I love, instead of ask myself, well, I've already loved my life up until now, why don't I just stay here? So I'm going to be asking myself, what if, instead of go off of my own experiences that I've already had. And basically infusing exploration instead of exploitation. So by this, it basically is saying that I need to explore new ideas rather than exploit the ideas that I already know. Because, for example, she said in the TED Talk how the owner of Netflix went to Blockbuster 10 years before Blockbuster shut down and basically offered to like partner with them. And the guy told him, no, why would I do that? I'm already super, super successful. And then they went out of business, and now Netflix is one of the best streaming platforms there is. So basically just exploring new ideas instead of exploiting the old ones that have come to work for me, but there's stuff out there that could work better for me. Lastly, we have listening to what other people say. So basically I need to pay attention to the people who I think are good listeners and pick up on kind of some of the cues that they give me and the things that I like about when I tell them stories, what they reciprocate back to me from what they heard, paying attention to people who I don't think listen very well and kind of noticing the characteristics of their listening skills, and basically implementing the skills of the good listeners and taking away the characteristics of the bad listeners, because a lot of the times you can't really tell when you do it yourself. Ask questions where you need clarity in a story when listening to someone. So this basically is showing them that you are listening and you care about what they're saying. And then don't interrupt them with personal stories. Let them talk themselves. And then at the end of it, if you have something that you can relate to them from an own personal experience, do that. Then basically summarize what I've heard. And basically it just tells them that, like, yes, I'm listening and I cared about what you had to say. So I'm going to implement this into my life because I'm a bartender at Gordy's, or I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm a bartender and a lot of my regulars don't really complain about my listening skills, but a lot of the time I'll just see myself like hearing them, but not really listening to what they have to say. So basically I'm going to pay attention to the regulars that I think listen really well to me. I'm going to see what they do. I'm going to pay attention to the people who I don't think listen really well to me, and I'm going to see what they do, and I'm going to implement and take away. And I'm going to do this over my shift this weekend. So yeah, thanks for listening.